What's up to everybody? Just waiting for a few people to come on. I'm about to give it a few minutes, a few seconds, and we'll get into it. We're going to talk about mainly Deadpool and Wolverine. There's going to be spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, don't watch it. And if you've seen it and you want to talk about it, then let's go at it. And if you don't care about spoilers, then thank you for being here. I'm going to give it a few more seconds and we'll get started. So, very interesting things that I want to talk about. And kind of go over not too many things, but just a few things. Very interesting. So things are kind of going a different route when it comes to all of this with these movies and what Marvel is doing, where DC is headed, and just things overall when it comes into this entertainment business. All right, so we'll get started in a few seconds, and as always, appreciate everybody that's watching wherever you're at. All right, so look, let's get into it. All right, so Deadpool and Wolverine. All right, so I finished watching it, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it was entertaining. I'll give it to you. Um, but honestly, this movie wasn't what I expected. I'm coming as a fan, but I'm also coming as a critic on this one. And I get a lot of people are like, it's very good and stuff like that. So yes, it was, but at the same time, it's not perfect because this movie, even though, you know, I don't even know what to say honestly, but the costumes were good. All right. I have 8 good things to talk about and 13 bad things to talk about this movie. And that says a lot. Like I said, okay, I like Deadpool, but he's not one of those characters that I'm like, oh wow, I really want to go see Deadpool. Like that's why I waited a few days just because of that. But the 8 good things about the movie is the following: the fight and the choreography that they did, amazing. It was spot on. It was really really good. The special effects, the backgrounds, all of that was good. The costumes were amazing, and wow, just seeing that was like wow. It was refreshing to see all of that. Um, Old cameos from the old X-Men coming into the new timeline and stuff like that. That was pretty dope what they're doing. And I see what Marvel and slash Disney are doing. They're setting things up and paving the way for Secret Wars. Because all of these characters, obviously they didn't die. They're going to be in Secret Wars. I can see what's already building up. Like Disney is cooking something up, and I like what they're doing with that because they're reaching to the old audience, the old fans that grew up watching all these movies in what was like the early 2000s, and of course the new fans that are right now. So that's dope. I like what they're doing. We'll get into that too with some details. All right. I like that they brought Lady Deadpool, and that was dope to finally see on the big screen. This movie has so many Easter eggs, and it was just like ridiculous with the Easter eggs. It's like it was just too many. I missed a lot, but and one big thing that caught me by surprise was that Henry Cavill Wolverine variant when he appeared. I thought that was gonna be just BS when people were talking about it online. Like there was leaks and rumors and stuff. I didn't believe it until I actually saw it. And I was surprised. I was 50-50. Because look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I like DC. I like what they were doing with the DCEU. But what Marvel did and what Disney did with Henry Cavill, like I said, it's a 50-50. I liked it, and at the same time I didn't like it. And I'll say why. Because flat out, Henry Cavill is and will always be Superman. Let's get that right. Like I'm not looking forward to James Gunn and his whatever DCU reboot. Like I'm just not interested. So when I saw Henry Cavill, I was like, yo, they actually did it. And it kind of hurt because I'm like, wow, like Disney actually brought in Henry Cavill to do it. But this is where I got to give Disney credit and Marvel, because when Deadpool was like, oh, you look like Henry Cavill, and then he fights him, he hits him or whatever, and he's like, oh, come with us, we'll treat you better than those dipshits over down the street. They were Deadpool and Disney and Marvel were dissing DC, and that was awesome. I was like, reality check upon WB and DC. They did that very smart, like saying, you know what? Hey, they don't want you, they don't appreciate you. We're gonna take good care of you. And damn it, I'm at the point. Honestly, look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I like DC much more than Marvel, but where DC is heading right now, I'm telling everybody, screw DC. I'm done with them. I'm going and I'm straight up gonna keep on supporting Marvel now. You know why? Because they know how to please the customer. DC and WB are just full of it. And it hurts because as a fan, we shouldn't have to be at this position. But this is what WB and DC Studios have brought upon themselves. If WB would have announced at San Diego Comic Con, hey, look, we're going to restore Snyderverse, we're going to release the air cut, boom, this would have been huge for them. But no, instead, they just gave us that shitty logo from the 70s. Like, yo, why are we going backwards? We should be moving forward. Why are we moving forward? But, it's completely stupid what WB is doing right now. And as a fan, I'm fed up. I'm done. I'm done completely supporting DC. I'm done supporting WB. I'm telling you all the same thing. Do the same thing. Like screw them, boycott them. Keep those wallets closed. They don't deserve our money. What Marvel did with Wolverine and Deadpool, first, they brought Hugh Jackman back. Second, as you can see in the picture, he's finally wearing the cowl. And when he wears the cowl, again, Deadpool makes fun of Batman. He's like, oh, he's intimidating like Batman, except he can turn his neck. I was like, damn, they're dissing DC again. And then you have Deadpool also that he comes out in another scene and he's like, oh, he was making fun of Black Adam. He was like, oh, the hierarchy of Marvel's about to change or something like that. I was like, that's 3 disses. I was like, what? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. What up to everybody? I see y'all. What up, Sean? What up, Year One Relics? Appreciate y'all. It did hurt though. Deadpool was clowning DC, man, but they were right. They were right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. They were right. And it serves them right to do that. That's why Marvel's right now crushing and destroying DC. Look, honestly, DC should just give up. Flat out. Look, we're at the point that now, like I said for a while, we're at war with the studio. It's a symbolic war. How? Because the studio doesn't want to give us what we want. And now, with Deadpool, they're shifting into another route. They're like, yo, screw all this woke agenda and all this, political message. We're just going to give a good movie. And that's what they give. They delivered with it. That, I give it to them 100%. They did that freaking awesome. And what WB is doing with DC is just complete clown shit. It's complete ridiculous. The circus keeps on getting worse. You got Kevin Feige making fun of them at San Diego Comic Con. They didn't come out and impress. And then it's just like, that's it. Like, words can't describe and say how, as a fan, I feel towards WB and DC. They've lost all my respect, period. And that's why now I'm taking sides with Marvel 100% and Disney. Even though it's Disney, I gotta hand it to Disney. Disney had balls. They had balls, big balls with Deadpool. Because they actually allowed Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, and Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, to do their thing. And they did it. They didn't disappoint. It was a hardcore rated R movie. And of course, that's Deadpool. That is where WB is lacking. All right. Marvel and Disney are making movies great again. Honestly, flat out, they are. Let's admit the facts. They're crushing it. They're crushing it. That's why this movie is being so successful at the box office. And oh yeah, of course, the Hulk with the Wolverine for 5 seconds, that was pretty cool. I gotta admit it. It could have been worse. It could have been She-Hulk. So at least we got that. And for sure, Mad Max, I see that. Gunn is an inside man. Because look, I was looking at it when they brought Pool Dog. And I'm like, okay, so here we have this little dog. It's cute. It's adorable. And I see what James Gunn is going to do. He's going to bring in Crypto, like we've been seeing the pictures already leaking. That's Crypto in the movie. And the script or whatever the ending leaks where Supergirl is going to be coming out with Crypto the dog. It's setting it up. James Gunn is going to turn, and he's going to turn everything of DC into Marvel. Flat out. That's it. It's just going to be nothing but a comedy, and it's going to be just stupidity at its finest. Do you think we're ever going to get a Hulk versus Wolverine movie? We might get something. They're setting up something very good. That I hand it to them. Like I said, I have 8 good things about this movie that I just spoke about. Now I want to talk about 13 bad things that this movie had. All right. So just bear with me because, like I said, 13 things that are bad with this movie. It's kind of concerning. But overall, let's look at it. I've already said 3 of them, that they diss Black Adam, they diss DC, they diss Batman. Okay. Lady Deadpool was like a cameo. Like, why bring her in for that little short screen time with all those Deadpool variants? That scene dragged way too long. It was all right, but it was just way too long. Some of these scenes in this movie were just too long. I was like, all right, that's it. Like, move to the next scene. And seeing Lady Deadpool, that was dope. That was freaking the highlight of the movie, you know? Another thing too that I really didn't like was too many forced jokes. Way too many from beginning to end. I get it, that's who Deadpool is. I get it. I understand that. That's his character. But there's a point and a limit. You can't make every movie and every sentence a joke. It gets a little too cringy. It's like, all right, dude, like you just did that for the past 30 minutes. Like, okay, this is what the whole movie's gonna be, and that's exactly what it is. I got to a point where I was like, all right, bro, like I'm tired, I'm bored. Like, okay, the jokes upon the jokes, I get it. And then he's like, oh, I'm gonna be Deadpool Karen or something like that. I got a black belt and being Karen. I'm like, come on, like this is too much. Like, stop it with the jokes. Like, focus. There's a part where he's talking with the guy from TVA, and the guy's being serious, and I get it. Deadpool's supposed to be, the fourth wall, and he cracks into character, whatever. But I'm like so focused on what he's saying, and then all of a sudden, a joke with another joke with another cringe joke. I was like, yo, that whole scene just got ruined. It could have just stayed focused to continue as it was in that serious tone. But of course, Deadpool. I was like, all right, this is getting a little too annoying, but whatever. I get it that's the character. All right. Another thing too that really pissed me off is too many songs from the soundtrack. Not every scene has to have a damn song. The song with Madonna was annoying as hell. Seeing the one that really, really grinded my gears was when they put the Ti song and they're driving in the desert to go. I guess they were gonna fight. What was Sabretooth, and then they put TIP. Like bring him out, bring him out, bring him out. I was like, what? Like, what the hell? Like that doesn't go with that scene. This is what I hate about Hollywood. Why do they do that? Put some epic score music to that scene. Don't put hip hop. Don't put NSYNC. Don't put things that are not according to the scene. That's what, to me, as a fan, just pissed me off. I was like, this is just complete garbage right now. But whatever, that's what happens. That's just my point of view. Another thing too is this movie is just straight up nostalgia clickbait. That's just what it is. It's just to please people from the old X-Men movie when Fox had the rights and they were dissing Fox and everything. But of course, now Disney owns Fox, so it's like them mocking themselves. So that's fine. But it was just too much nostalgia. I was like, yo, like, okay, let's kind of focus on what we're setting up and where we're heading. Like, we don't need to rely on the past too much. I felt they dragged it too much with that nostalgia vibe. All right. Wolverine took way too long to wear his cowl, and when he does, it's short. I was like, yo, you're gonna go the whole movie without your cowl that we're all waiting for. And the whole time it's just hanging in the back of his neck. He just pulls it out like nothing, like Spider-Man. I'm like, damn, you had that the whole time. We didn't even see it from the back, just hanging there. It was cool and it was awesome to finally see him wear his full cowl with the costume. That was badass. It was about damn time that they did that. So bravo to them. But it just took way too long. Like they should have just got that to the point and had him more, like on screen with his cowl and fighting and stuff like that. It's just one thing that to me I was like, all right, like this is Wolverine. Let's get him how we're supposed to. And pretty much this movie doesn't fully set the next phase in Marvel. It doesn't. It's trying to tap into what Loki, the Avengers, where we left off, where Deadpool left off. It's just a whole timeline that they're trying to fix. I get it. Like at the end you see that his timeline is finally saved and like it starts fixing and aligning. So that's cool. I see what they're doing, but it doesn't really set up, okay, are we gonna really go with X-Men and what's going on? A lot of questions come. Where's Cable? Where's Domino? Where's these characters from the previous films? Why aren't they not back? It cracked me up when Juggernaut came out because straight up that Juggernaut looks straight up like a stripper. He has that helmet. That was hilarious because I forgot about that character from the old X-Men. I was like, wow, it was funny to see him, but at the same time, I was like, all right, cool, they brought him back and stuff. And of course, when we get the cameos of all the characters, we got Blade, we got Elektra, X-23, and we have finally Gambit. That was awesome. Gambit, wow, look, Gambit. I was so into the character. I was like, that's dope to see him. But I forgot that Gambit is like, I think he's French. So when I heard him, we all heard him. I just couldn't help it. I started cracking up in the theater. I was like, oh my god, I can't take him. He's it's just so horrible. I was like, his talking. He kind of remind me from the guy from the alligator show, the one with the swamp. That he's like, but you know, you put the bait and you hook it and you know what. I just couldn't take him serious. That was freaking funny. But his character, his fight, that was amazing. What he did with the cards, I was like, yo, that is finally in live action. And that was awesome. I gotta give it to them. You know, like it gave me chills when I saw him when he was fighting. I was like, it was like completely it was just amazing. I like what they did. Another thing too that I did not like was this big thing. This is something that DC and Marvel both and Sony, well, Sony, let's give it to them because they did it right. The multiverse. Okay? I get it. They have a multiverse, but they're not really using it like it's supposed to. A multiverse shouldn't just be let's open a portal and let's go into this dimension, look for this character, and bring them back. No, a multiverse should be massive in the sense how we saw in Endgame when it opened the portals and it brought all those characters. This is what I see that they're setting up for Secret Wars. The same thing we got at Endgame with all these characters that came out in that final big scene. That's what they're gonna do in Secret Wars. I already see it. I'm calling it right now from the start. I don't read the comics, so I'm not familiar. I'm just looking at it from the cinematic point of view. Check it out. We already have Henry Cavill, right? As a variant, Wolverine. He's for sure going to be in Secret Wars. I'm telling you all. He's going to be in Secret Wars and he's going to be fighting. Like, he's going to go all out. For sure, it's going to happen. We already have what they did with Spider-Man, No Way Home. We have 3 Spider-Mans in the multiverse, right? Andrew Garfield, Toby, and Tom. Those 3 are going to be in Secret Wars. Now we know that Tony Stark, or what's his name, Doctor Doom with Robert Downey Jr., he's going to be also another character that's going to come back as a variant. So what they're shifting now is everything is going to be, the next phase, the key word is variants. Everything is going to be a variant. Previously, what we had, everything was focused on the multiverse. Now they're focusing and shifting into variants. I see all of that. So we have Blade, and of course, I think they're working on his movie, or things are gonna happen. How many directors that hasn't gone through? A shitload. And even Wesley Snipes was on camera saying, "Oh, there's only one of me." Yeah, for now, because they're gonna probably bring in a new one, and of course we're gonna probably have like 2 or 3 Blades. You'll see. Same thing with Deadpool. We're gonna have Deadpool, Lady Deadpool, and probably like whoever. The whole point is they're gonna have 3 of each characters. That's what I see. Captain America, that new one that they're doing, was a New World or whatever it's called. That has Red Hulk. We already have Green Hulk, and we already have She-Hulk. So those 3 are going to be in Secret Wars. Guarantee it. The other characters, I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably going to do a different Cyclops. Who knows? Because remember, now Marvel's going to be setting up and building and bringing the Fantastic Four and, everything with the X-Men and stuff like that. So I see what they're planning and what they're paving. That's good. That's really, really good. So we're going to have, of course, Elektra, X-23, all these characters. They're probably going to have both male and female. So that's what they're going to probably do. And I like that, honestly. That's something that DC could be doing, but they refuse to. And it's sad because it's like you have the power of the multiverse with the Flash. We've seen that already twice in action with, of course, Batman versus Superman. When you see the Flash, that he comes and talks to Bruce and, he tells him about Lois and stuff like that. Then we see it again when the Flash resets the time with Darkseid. So that's 2. We also see it in the Flash. He uses the multiverse. He rewinds time and he screws the timelines and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, you guys have used it 3 times. Zach was the one that used it the right way. What they did, in the flush, it was a complete mess. I was like, no. But that's why at the same time, what Marvel is doing is kind of ahead of the game, but at the same time, they're doing it smart because they're setting it up to a way where if they bring a character and kill it off, they can go back. Okay, we can go back, fix it like they're doing with Deadpool. We saw the first shitty Deadpool from the first X-Men movie when he had his lip stitch and he went and corrected everything in that timeline. And now we have the right proper, Deadpool and Wolverine. So that's awesome. They fixed it. The same thing DC can be doing to capitalize with, one, of course, nostalgia fans, two, the new generation fans, because you can still have all this greatness of the multiverse in one universe with different timelines. Now, speaking of timelines, while I'm talking about it, check this out. Deadpool and Wolverine copied what the Flash was going to be, the original ending that we all heard about. Remember, when they were filming The Flash with Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and Gal, there was supposed to be an end scene, not the one with George Clooney. We were supposed to have where Ben Affleck's Batman is stuck in another timeline, and he was telling Barry, "Hey, rescue us. We're here, but we're in a different time zone, time dimension, whatever." So it ends there, leaving the door open for if whoever wants to do another Batman movie with Ben Affleck, the door was gonna be open. But then we got this shit face James Gunn coming on board, screwing everything and trying to implement and put his thoughts and do his thing. And look at where we're at right now. Still nowhere. It's just crazy. San Diego Comic-Con, they announced, what is it, Avengers 5 and 6. 5 and 6. DC, where you at? All you have is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Where's 2 and 3? You could be making this money, but you don't want to. You refuse to. And that's the problem with DC Studios. And now, instead of moving forward, we're moving backwards. And that's why I see that Marvel with Deadpool and Wolverine, they copied the idea. Because let's not forget also, what it was like 2 or 3 years ago, Zack had posted that that picture from Thanksgiving, and it had Infinite Crisis in the background. So I see what Secret Wars is going to be, what Infinite Crisis could be. Now, at the rate that things are going over at WB, shit's just getting worse for them. It doesn't get any better. The stocks continue to sink. We, the fans, need to keep our wallets closed and just straight up keep it closed. Because that company is not getting $1 from me, honestly. I'm not going to be watching Superman. I'm not going to be watching any of these shows that they're putting out there. I don't even have the subscription to HBO Max. Why? Why should we, the fans, continue to support a shitty company that doesn't want to cater to us, the fans, the customer? Enough is enough. So if you, the fan, are listening out there, why are you still supporting a company that doesn't care about you? That's why I like what Deadpool and Wolverine did. They're giving us, the fans, not only the new gen fans, they're giving the old fans what we want. You have Hugh Jackman from the early 2000s. You have Ryan Reynolds, that's from this new MCU. Now it's officially in the MCU. Why can't DC do something like that? Especially with what Zack already has created. We already have the multiverse in the DCEU. It can fix and it can change everything the same way that Zack used the Flash to change what WB did with that shitty version of Justice League. And it got repaired. It got fully restored in that sense for that movie. So it got justice finally done. The same thing can be done. And this is what Marvel is doing. They're ahead of the game right now. Marvel is right now like 2 miles ahead of DC. DC is not catching up. No, they're not. Unless DC decides to bring Zack back and bring David Ayer and continue with the Snyderverse, DC is done. They are officially done. Stick a fork because they are done. They're fully done. There's nothing that got attention at San Diego Comic-Con. And that whole thing about all the t-shirts sold out for Superman from James Gunn, that's all bullshit too. They probably printed like what? 24 shirts? 2 dozens? I'm exaggerating. They probably printed what, like 100 or 200 shirts? And how many people you have at San Diego Comic-Con? Thousands of people. Over 50,000 people. So of course it's gonna be obvious that it's gonna sell out. Don't come to me and try to fool me like I'm an idiot that I don't know how things sell out. And that's what they're trying to do. Oh wow, the shirts went out for James Gunn's DCU with Superman. Yeah, because you probably printed 100 of them and you have 50,000 people, and his little small supporters are obviously gonna buy it. So of course you sold out. Wow. You see how that works? That's how marketing works, and that's what they do. They like to exaggerate and increase the numbers so everybody can be like, oh wow, I'm gonna go and buy that shirt too. Ugly ass shirt, you can get that thing printed at the flea market. Straight up. That's what it is. And this is what Marvel is doing right. They're listening closely to the fans. They're setting something massive. Secret Wars is going to be Avengers Endgame on steroids. I'm telling y'all. And when they do that whole thing with X-Men versus the Avengers, oh man, they're done. DC is done. Like, close the shop, sell it, because that's where it's heading to. This is why the power lies in us, the fans. We need to keep our wallets closed. Deadpool and Wolverine are banking because fans are loving it. They're pleasing the old generation and the new generation. And not only that, they're giving customer satisfaction. They're like, well, you know what? All right. WB doesn't want to do anything with Henry Cavill. They screwed him over so many times, time after time. The last time was at Black Adam, and he lost his role for The Witcher. So what happened? They screwed him. Okay. So what's Marvel doing? Hey, let's capitalize. Let's bring in Henry Cavill. Let's have him as a variant. And on top of that, we're going to win the Snyder fans, because we know the Snyder fans are going to love Henry Cavill because it's Superman and blah, blah. The same thing with marketing. And that's what happens. And that's what's happening. So bravo to Marvel. Well played. Well played. That was an ace in your card. And they did it amazing. Even though it's a cameo, again, they gave him a cameo. But this cameo, I'm telling you guys, and I'm telling you as a true DC fan, the cameo that we got with Henry Cavill in Deadpool and Wolverine was 10 times better than what we got in Black Adam. That tells you a lot. That says a lot. It's sad, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? Moving forward, I'm supporting DC, not DC, Marvel. Why? Because they did him right. I like what they did with Henry Cavill. And I get it. A lot of people are like, yo, I don't want this to happen and this and that. That's fine. They can both be in both worlds. Ben Affleck came over from Marvel. Let's not forget, when he first came, everybody was hating on him. I didn't really know him because I don't know about Daredevil. So I never saw it. I was like, I don't know. I guess he looks like Batman. But then his performance, we all love him now. So I'm going to be one of them. I didn't like Jared Leto in the beginning when he was casted as the Joker, but he grew on me. And the same thing now with what they're doing with Henry Cavill. So as a Snyder fan, I appreciate that because they're respecting Henry Cavill, they're respecting the character, and they're doing him right. They're treating him with love the same way that Netflix is treating Zack Snyder over at Netflix with everything that he's doing. So I can't get mad. I can't sit here and be like, yo, he only has to be Superman and that's it. He's still Superman. When he comes to DC, let's go, baby. You still Superman. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit here and be salty about it. I'm going to be like, let's go. If DC's not doing anything with him, Netflix isn't doing anything with him with The Witcher, yo, let's go with Marvel. All right, let's go. Let's show DC how it's done. This is what you were missing. Customer satisfaction, DC, WB. This right here is a face that people are going to pay money for. Not with what James Gunn is doing with his new reboot of Superman. That it's all completely a mess. It looks like it's going to be a disaster. That's why what Marvel is doing right now, they're capitalizing and they're ahead of the game. But this is what DC Studios has brought upon themselves, and you have Warner Brothers that has allowed it. Now, bringing to the main big topic that I want to talk about. In 3 days, right, we have, well, I'm going to be starting, like I said, because today's the 31st, and in 2 days, on Friday is the 2nd. But of course, let's not forget that on August 5th, we're going to be doing the trend online on every social media platform for David Ayer and release the Ayer cut. All right. We can't stop and we won't stop. Like I said, we have to use those hashtags. Release the Ayer cut and restore the Snyderverse. Marvel is crushing it right now. They're doing what they have to do. It's up to us, the fans, to come together. And now we got to fight for David Ayer. It's okay if David Ayer recently came out and said, hey, I feel like giving up. I don't feel like, like I don't feel like it no more. That's cool. That's what we're here for. We're the fans. We're going to fight for you. We're going to defend your version. And in the end, damn it, we're going to get David Ayer's Suicide Squad released. Mark my words, it's going to happen. WB knows it. Marvel knows it. James Gunn knows it. David Zaslav knows it. And we, the fans, know that in due time we're going to get it. It's all up to us. Continue to use those hashtags. I've been seeing a lot of people using them. And that brings a lot of joy when I see that. Because people are starting to wake up again. People are tired of the nonsense over at WB. People want quality. What David Ayer was giving us, what Zack Snyder was giving us in the DCEU was quality. And that right there is what should motivate you to continue and not to give up. Because I'm not giving up and I'm not moving. I'm not moving on. So to all the salty clowns that are out there saying, oh, well, give up and blah, 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 all the usual stuff that you say, you wish. We're not going anywhere. When we say we will stop at nothing, that means get in our way and we're like a freight train just coming at full impact. And that's what we're doing. That's why in due time we will get Suicide Squad from David Ayer. Now, it's interesting because now in Peacemaker season 2, apparently Rick Flag is going to be appearing. Whoa, hold on. You're going to tell me that this dude, he got his character deleted over in, what was, the Suicide Squad? And now they're bringing him back? Why? I thought this was a whole reboot. Oh, another character from the DCEU makes a return, huh? So James Gunn is picking and choosing once again who comes and who stays. We can't let that happen. We're the fans. That's what I'm telling you. How do we get them? At the box office. How do we get them? When those shows come out on streaming, don't watch them. Just don't. Why? You already know what to expect from the weird mind of James Gunn. That's exactly what he delivers. That raunchy weirdness. And I am not down for that. This is what I want. I want quality with David Ayer and Zack Snyder. There's no stopping us. I know Henry Cavill will come back as Superman, but I'm scared that they're going to do that same thing with Blade, that they'll have Henry as an older multiverse Superman variant. It could be. It could be. Anything is possible. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind, but at the same time, it's like, okay, look, the whole thing that WB needs and DC needs in their cinematic universe is just Zack Snyder. That's it. If they bring Zack back to continue the Snyderverse, which is going to happen in due time, because like I've been saying, only 2 things are coming from this reboot, and you can see it. We're heading right to it. We are heading into 2 things, and things are shifting. How? If the studio doesn't decide to restore the Snyderverse, release the Ayer cut, and do anything with Zack Snyder in the DCEU again, they're going to be forced to sell, because nobody's interested in James Gunn's DCU. Nobody's interested in a reboot. And most of all, nobody's asking for a reboot. Nobody's excited. What? A handful? A little bit of people? The minority people of fans that want it? It's not enough. Because if it was enough, why are the stock markets still low? Huh? Why is James Gunn, The Suicide Squad, still at Walmart for $5 at the DVD rack? Those are clearance products. That tells you everything. Why are the toys from McFarlane Toys of The Suicide Squad with Peacemaker still at my local Walmart on clearance? Because nobody cares about it. And that tells you everything. Now, when they put out stuff merchandise from Zack Snyder, people buy it instantly. When tickets go up for sale, especially now for the screening that's coming up with Rebel Moon, and they're gonna be showing in that one theater, the Egyptian theater over in LA, yo, people are buying those tickets and they're paying full price and they're selling out. How come nobody's buying and doing the same with James Gunn? Oh, but that's right. They want to lie and increase the sales and increase the numbers. And they want to tell you this fairy tale, like a unicorn, that James Gunn is hot. No, he's not. Nobody cares. There was no hype at San Diego Comic Con. He wasn't even there. He didn't have the balls to show up. And then Peter Safran comes out and says, "Well, we're gonna wait until we get closer so we can, start promoting Superman because we feel it's better." Right, right. Remember when they were promoting The Flush? Over a year ago, and they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be the best movie. Oh, that movie's it's gonna be the best, right?" Remember? Everybody was saying what's his name? Tom Cruise. You had everybody was saying it. Oh, it's gonna be the best movie. And look at how bad that movie tanked at the box office. The Suicide Squad, the first DC IP from James Gunn, flopped at the box office. I like the sound of that. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad flopped at the box office. It was a massive failure. And that's exactly what's going to come from everything he's going to put out. Nothing but flops. Fresh off the press. A flop after another flop. Nobody's excited. Since day one that James Gunn announced his Superman, it's been nothing but memes. And it continues. And it continues. That's why he doesn't come out on stage. He doesn't talk. And then when he does come out, he pre-records himself and tells you a lot about himself and what he plans and what he's working on for his new reboot. And again, nobody's interested. Nobody. What? His 20 followers? That's it? Me being sarcastic. Again. So you see, that's what I'm telling you. Nobody's excited. Now, when you look back at San Diego Comic Con, when they were doing Man of Steel, when they were doing Batman vs. Superman, everybody was wild. Everybody was like, oh, snap. Everybody was like how you saw right now with the announcement of Avengers 5 and 6. Why? Because that's how you please the crowd. But again, WB has lost their balls because they want to cater and push and promote some type of agenda that it doesn't work. Let's not forget what they're doing now with Penguin and that new Cape Crusader show. What are they doing? Gender swap. Again, there you go. Nobody's interested in that. That's DOA. The same like that show Kite Man. DOA. Flopped. Nothing that James Gunn puts out will ever and never be successful. It's not. It's not ever going to. That's what a lot of people need to understand. With Zack Snyder, David Ayer, that's where the quality lies. The tone is more realistic. It's not realistic like Christopher Nolan, but it's still realistic in the sense where it's like, damn it, this is quality. This is like quality on this type of level. It could be massive, but WB just doesn't have the balls to do it. So now Marvel says, screw it. WB doesn't want to do it. Screw it. We'll do it ourselves. And that's what they're doing. Deadpool killing everybody. Wolverine killing everybody. Oh, but it's a crime and it's wrong when David Ayer does that, right? With Deadshot. That's wrong, right? And it's wrong with Zack Snyder uses Wonder Woman to cut the head from Steppenwolf. That's bad too, right? And it's bad when Batman is kicking massive ass in that Batmobile tank and taking these goons out, right? Oh, that's bad. But it's okay for James Gunn to do all his raunchiness, explosions in the head, people getting decapitated just like Deadpool, and going all out, being bloody, hardcore rated R, right? Sprinkle with stupidity on it, right? Oh, that's okay. You see the hypocrisy? Again, quality is where it lies with David Ayer and his Suicide Squad. The Ayer cut. That's what we need. James Gunn, he's just going backwards. And that's why he's doing that. Because he knows that he's never going to achieve this level of quality. Never. Never. And he knows it. James Gunn knows it. James can't cook. Zack Snyder and David Ayer, they're the ones cooking. Disney, they're cooking right now. They're straight up cooking a thick, juicy steak. And meanwhile, with James Gunn, he's just microwaving his leftovers. And that tells you a lot. All right, so I'm going to check out some comments real quick. What's push on an audience? Exactly. James Gunn's pushing something to an audience that doesn't exist. But his audience is from the 70s. Because now with that logo, we're going back to the 70s. That's why he's doing the whole thing with the underwear. Embarrassing. Instead of moving forward and ahead, they're just moving more backwards and, lost in time. So that tells you a lot. Gunn's motives to go backwards is why Marvel will continue to move forward and succeed. Now that they bit off Snyder's plan, they are set to succeed and DC to fail the next couple of years, but harder. Yep, true. Facts, 100%. That right there is true, my friend. Straight up. We can all see that what Deadpool is doing is straight up what Zack Snyder was doing when he was at DC, doing his DCEU. And now what Marvel is doing, Marvel is straight up crushing it. But again, this is what happens with these studios. You don't give customer satisfaction, your audience is going to go somewhere else. And that somewhere else is right here with Marvel, with Deadpool and Wolverine. This movie is making so much money, but at the same time, it's capitalizing on everything. The old crowd, the new crowd, the in-between crowd, the new crowd that's coming up, because they're gonna now discover these old movies of X-Men and they're gonna go and watch it on Disney Plus because it's there. Oh, that's the one that came out in Deadpool. So again, they get popular again. It's just a cycle that just repeats. You know how that goes. Hey, what's going on, Ace? Appreciate you watching. But overall, I mean, this is where we're at. This is what's going on. Deadpool and Wolverine crushing it. Henry Cavill, he crushed it. He did his performance. It was just awesome. At the same time, I wanted to shed a tear because I was like, you're still Superman to me. I'm like, you're the reason why I like Superman. Not James Gunn. Henry Cavill. Because his Superman is what made me like that character. Because I was never into him. And I was like, damn, that's dope. What he did with Man of Steel. And seeing him where he's at now, it's like, wow, like, you did your thing while you could. The studio, WB, screw you. And now Marvel is with arms wide open saying, you know what? We welcome you. You want to be with us? Let's work. And that's how it should be. This could be DC. This could be WB. But they refuse to give the fans what they want. And for that, they are literally paying the price. Because again, we will stop at nothing. We will keep our wallets closed. And at the box office is where the numbers don't lie. And those numbers are not going to meet their quota that they're trying to push and trying to reach. In 2025, it won't happen. Hey, what's going on, Dragon? Appreciate you watching. But that's what it is, Right now, Marvel is plankton with the Krabby Patty secret plans. Oh, yeah. They got a truck full of that Krabby Patty sauce. But, they're just doing what they got to do. And for that, I thank them, honestly. This should be a big message to WB saying, hey, wake up. Nobody cares about your reboot. Nobody's interested. We're going to move ahead. And while we're moving ahead, we're going to use your cast. Because we know that there's an audience and they're going to capitalize on it. And that, as a fan, I'm like, bravo, let's go. Let's freaking go. They said that line way too much in this movie. But, and another thing too, this movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, the jokes are not going to age well. In 10 or 15 years, these jokes are going to be so cringe because by then, there's going to be other type of, slang and, jokes and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, that was kind of terrible. That was very cheesy, But, that's what they chose. And, it's not a perfect movie. It was enjoyable for what they gave us. James Gunn DC needs to close down his doors and Warner Brothers should just listen to the fans and not mock them or ignore us. Yep, that's true. But that's what Kevin Feige, Deadpool, Marvel, and Disney is doing for us right now. They're straight up spitting and laughing in the face of WB, James Gunn, and DC Studios. That is very sad. But again, now Disney is winning with what they're doing. But yeah, so I'm going to let y'all go. I appreciate y'all for watching. Just wanted to talk about that stuff. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe, share the videos, all that good stuff. And as always, until next time, y'all stay safe, and I appreciate y'all watching again. Till next time, my friends. Peace.